Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 5 of the Manly Hanley Podcast. This is the podcast with no limits on what we'll cover, unless it's something totally psychotic or not worth covering. I'm your host, Randy, and with me, I have my co-host, Vic the Cat. Have a snack, sit back, and relax. This episode was recorded on Sunday, April 14th, 2019. Time for Nintendo. So thanks for joining me on this Sunday, rainy April showers bring May flowers type of day. Great day to listen to a podcast like this one. So I feel for a while, if you wanted to play video games, you had to dedicate all hours of the day to it. At least in the time that I stopped playing video games, 10, 15 years ago. I feel like I was able to do that with Nintendo, though. I could just play whenever I want during my childhood. And then life happened. We work, we stop playing as much, and build a life for ourselves. When things start to settle down in your 30s, like me anyways, you feel like Nintendo is kind of back now. This is a lot of 30-somethings nowadays. A lot of people my age are getting back into Nintendo again like we were in our childhood. And you're hearing about it everywhere. I don't think about it long before. I didn't think about it very long before I jumped back in and tried it out. It's something that didn't require a lot of thought because all of video games I've seen, granted I work in the technology industry, and people that are into video games now, it seems to require a lot of dedication and time, like these, I'll say like Xbox type games. And because the games are amazing, they're built really well and they require a lot of skill. But Nintendo kind of has that casual gaming attitude, at least the way I see it. You can just pick it up and go whenever you want. It's family friendly. It's very focused on the family and everybody having a good time. And not blowing off heads and all that stuff, which, those games, those are cool too as well. I'm not like saying it's wrong and nobody should play them. Everybody has their own preference. And, but I like the Nintendo approach. It seems healthier and it just kind of brings me back to my childhood when it was just fun to play games with people and not locked down to a phone necessarily. And actually in the room with those people. So it's like you don't have to go online with a multiplayer subscription necessarily to play Mario Party, where you could be in the same room on the same screen playing with multiple people. Before we dive in fully into this topic, I want to give out the announcements as I do every episode. I'm hard at work with some different vendors looking into possible sponsorships or giveaways too. As far as the giveaways, we'll for sure have some coming soon, and they're pretty exciting. So be sure to subscribe to the podcast or keep in touch at randyhanley.com for the latest updates. As for the sponsorship, don't have anything coming up certain anytime soon, which isn't a big deal. I'm going to continue to record this podcast. So yeah, keep in touch firstly. So for the episode, we're going to cover the topic of time for Nintendo, but also I might kind of describe other systems as well in relation to what I'm getting at with my opinion on it. I think that Nintendo could be good for any age, as I feel it allows for a healthier video gaming habit. And it's like my life was on pause for 20 years while I figured things out, and Nintendo was right there waiting for me to resume the game, And that's how the idea of the Nintendo Switch works anyway. You can kind of just dock it, and then it hibernates right on the spot. It doesn't have to shut down. You don't have to power it off, and it's very low power. It's pretty much the same size as a tablet. And it is a tablet in essence. So it does allow you to be a mobile gamer with its portability, but also a serious gamer, if you will, with the fact that you can buy real full titles and not pay to play with in-app purchases like you would on a phone, wasting more money in the long run, in my opinion, which I have done. I've bought in-app purchases and I'm just like, that's a waste. It's nothing I get to really keep other than the progress in the game in my mind, So things are also consistent across Nintendo games, such as nostalgic characters you've seen before. They may appear in other games. A great example would be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where many characters from different Nintendo franchises appear all in this one game. And also in one of my future episodes, my fiance and I are probably going to include a host who's actually a relative of hers. He's a nephew, and he's very, very gifted with these video games and has explained to me and has caught me up on some of the things I may not have remembered with these Nintendo characters that appear in other games. And it's really, really interesting and fun. So with that, his name is Andrew, by the way, and we'll invite him on the show sometime. Hopefully he accepts and we get him on here. Another thing that seems to be consistent across Nintendo games is the co-op capability. For instance, Smash Bros, you could have 8 characters playing simultaneously. I can't do that with my smartphone, yet this tiny tablet-sized device can pull it off and act as a console when it's docked. Still, you got that. It can always be your console. You never have to undock it if you don't want to. You can just leave it at home, just like you would any other console system. And another benefit is it's less of an investment in the long run for a Nintendo Switch online membership compared to other gaming services. For instance, you could buy a 12-month membership for $20 as opposed to other gaming platforms coming in around just under $50 a year, I think. Furthermore, Nintendo Online has a family membership option where you can pay $35 for the entire year, but share it with 8 different Nintendo accounts. So if you were to split that up between 8 people, that's just over like $4 a year per user. I chose this option, and there's no loss in functionality for the online gaming. You still get the retro Nintendo, the retro NES games, which is, you remember the old Nintendo Entertainment System, the original one. They actually give you that as part of your subscription. As long as you're paying that, that membership, you get access to probably a couple dozen, I would say. Don't quote me on that, but it's there's quite a few really good games. Like one of the more current ones would be Blaster Master and Kid Icarus, which are awesome games from the retro NES system. So all the people in your plan, those 8 people, would have access to that. And they do. I've tried it out, and it's great. Everybody's happy and having a blast playing it. So you also get some other releases as well. There's one called Tetris 99. That's where you play like 98 other players. I don't know why that's really random, but it's cool. And my fiance has been playing it. She's like awesome at it. She's coming in like regularly, maybe 20th place out of those 99 people. And these are some good Tetris players. It gets pretty ugly. I don't want to get in on that match. They're going to smash me, man. So, but it's really cool. That comes in with the membership too. That's a free game, completely free, included with your membership. I want to jump into 5 benefits that I came up with for console gaming versus I can't talk today. I don't edit this crap very much at all. I just chop it up to get out the crap in the beginning and the end, but I'm just going to leave that. The top 5 benefits to console gaming versus, there we go, mobile games. Most of the console games don't have to rely on in-app purchases as their business model. So you pay the price up front, say $60, and you own it, and you play it whenever you like. That's just how we were used to it back in the day, and it still holds valuable today. I like buying a game and not having to worry if an ad's going to interrupt my playing. Now, it's personal preference. You might like to get a game for free on your mobile phone and then just deal with the ads. I don't. I want a smooth, efficient experience. So anyway, with that, NewZoo, that's NEWZOO, released a market report last year displaying that mobile revenues were reaching nearly $138 billion. This year, they're accurate, by the way. Their predictions are very accurate. This year, they're stating that it will be just short of $150 billion. From that $150 billion, I'd say about $4 of that is me, and that's when I was playing Toon Blast, and I bought a power-up for like, I don't know, it was $3.99, $4.99, maybe it was $5, okay? And I really hope to push back on this a bit and purchase the games up front. I kind of feel the same when I don't use the self-checkout at the grocery store. Sir, it's probably not going to help change much, but I feel like I'm doing my part in some weird way. But while the line between mobile and console gaming is being blurred by games available on both platforms, for example, Fortnite, people like myself still want what they want. It's a game that you just pay for upfront with no interruptions to the user experience, no extra crap to buy. Is that right, Vic? Meow. Oh, yeah, he agrees. All right, that's one reason, and I have one supporter right here next to me. Also, I once heard that developing a mobile game is much less expensive than the development that goes into making a console game, but I am also starting to think that that's becoming less common. For example, Zynga Games, they're the people that make the addictive game Toon Blast that I just mentioned. They paid $100 million for its card and board games division. They bought that. And they made Toon Blast, which is, look it up in your app market, app store. You'll see the ratings very high. They're very successful. They know how to make a game that brings in some bucks. But they even hired Ryan Reynolds to make multiple commercials to promote the game. Just go on YouTube, type it in, search it. There's a lot of commercials of Ryan, and they're very well made. He's hilarious, and Really good marketing on their part. It's just showing you how much money goes into this, though. These pay-to-play or in-app purchase type games. So you've probably even seen the ad on TV. You might not have to look it up. Furthermore, a console game is designed for a centralized system, though, where the mobile games are developed for possibly thousands of different mobile phone models in different countries. This naturally is going to make the mobile platform less consistent. For instance, I've had many games crash on certain mobile phones when they don't crash on another platform. You won't have this problem as much on an Apple device because obviously they have limited models, and that helps for consistency, though. So that's good. So the mobile gaming experience might be a little bit better on Apple for games like that. I mean, I got to be honest with this. I'm an Android fanboy to a certain extent, and I'll admit that if I have a side-by-side iPhone 6S playing Toon Blast, it still runs better than a 2017 model Android phone often. Not all the time. There's a lot of Android phones that will smoke any iPhone as well, but I got to give it to Apple with consistency in the game development. So, if you have a mobile phone, chances are, if it's an Apple, an iPhone, iOS, or whatever, the game will run really nice on there. So I don't want to sell you on this game because I'm totally trying to promote some Nintendo here. But point number 3 would have to be frequency. The amount I'm going to go play the game. I have to make it a point to go over to my console game, so I'm not as likely to waste time on it like I do with a mobile phone game. Additionally, I feel that that staring at a large screen further away doesn't put as much strain on my eyes as staring at a 5-inch screen near my face. That being like the Nintendo Switch, if I have it docked and it's on the big screen TV. I call it the big screen because it's just bigger than my monitor, so it's not really actually a ginormous screen, but you get what I'm saying. You're not staring right up at your phone. It seems to stress my eyes a little less. Oh yeah, and a bonus benefit would be that playing mobile games on your phone is by far one of the biggest battery drains. If you don't believe me, go look at the battery usage log on your phone. You should have it there under your battery settings or history, and you can see it there. Heck, if you're even using an app that uses AR, that's augmented reality, you'll see your battery life drain way quicker than that even. So I guess that was a little bonus point there that I wanted to make. But another one is that consoles like the Nintendo Switch, you can still support indie game developers and buy their games in the Nintendo Switch online store and still have a game that isn't injected with ads like the mobile counterparts often are. Now, mobile games are not always full of ads. I mean, there's ones you can buy that don't have ads, but just goes back to my other points about the battery drain and being on your phone all the time. I already have that problem. I try to be on my phone less, but that's just me, and I'm trying to break a very popular habit that a lot of us have. So we're coming up on 15 minutes here. Episodes will often go more than 15 minutes when I have some in-studio guests other than my cat. And all of my statistics or whatever I've cited during the show, I will have those in the show notes for you to view and check out those studies. And also, I just wanted to say, if you're a new listener, we'd love to hear from you. You can follow this podcast by visiting randyhanley.com/podcast. Of course, you can look for us on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, the Google Play, the Google Podcasts app. You can find us there. Check us out. Just, subscribe to us and follow us. You can support the show. We really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for listening, everyone, and have a great day.